Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Professor R.J. Placone on Communication Excellence. Today we're going to talk about dialogue. And I started thinking about this recently when I read some of an interview with Julia Roberts. She had a new movie premiere at the Venice Film Festival at the end of August. And she was talking about how she believes that the art of conversation is lacking, that she said we don't seem to have constructive dialogue with each other. I share her views, and I believe that if we took more time, and it does take time, on the bigger issues to have dialogue, we may find that we have more in common with people who we think we disagree with than we might realize at first. So let's start by saying dialogue is different from other forms of discourse, such as debate. In debate, you want to prove that someone else is wrong. You want to have your opinion to be the last one standing. In dialogue, you want to try to understand why a person thinks their perspective is the right one. You want to understand their critical thinking, and you want to share your critical thinking with others. And in doing that, you both might learn something. So collective understanding could increase by engaging with dialogue. It's not easy. It takes time. I think it should be reserved for some of the bigger issues. And I can't think of a bigger one. We have Thanksgiving around the corner. And how many families have been torn apart by the current political environment where we don't even want to talk to one another? We want to call each other names, ignore one another, marginalize them, ostracize them. Instead, why don't we talk with them in a respectful fashion? So to engage in dialogue, you want to bring a certain curiosity. You want to start with the belief that I don't have all the answers and I could probably learn from someone else, especially those who I may perceive as different from me. And when you state your thoughts, your perspectives, give people the respect of saying what's beneath them, what backing you have. So it's not just what you believe, but it's what you believe and why. So if we take the current political environment, I could just say Donald Trump is the best president ever. Okay. Or in dialogue, I could say Donald Trump is the best president ever. Why do I say this? Well, look at how he's cleaned up immigration. Look at what he's doing in crime rates in some of the cities. Look at the way he has negotiated trade deals to the favor of our country. He's brokered international peace agreements. So I could question and I could say, gee, well, have you thought of, that's interesting. What if I would say this? How might you react? Does that in any way tarnish your perspective of Donald Trump? And then on the other side, you might say, Donald Trump is the worst president ever. Well, he tries to rig elections. He tried to undermine a fair election. He surrounds himself with incompetent people. And he has reduced us to somewhat of a joke in the international community. Once again, hey, what do you think? Yeah, I know in some way you're chuckling and saying, can you really do this? Yes, I believe you can do this. And you can open it up. And when it's a give and take and you're showing respect to others, you're going to get respect back. That's what dialogue's all about. It does start with respect, curiosity, and an openness, and not being so rigid in one's perspective. You think there's no other way to see it. In fact, if someone sees it in a different way, they're flawed. There's something wrong with them. They're anti whatever. So I would hope that we would consider approaching some of our interactions, upcoming holiday season, with more of a willingness to learn from each other, to learn and be open to differing perspectives, to ask each other questions as they share their beliefs and what's behind their beliefs, ask them what if questions, offer them contrary perspectives to get their reaction to. And I think you could find in the end of it, you're in a better place. You have a renewed appreciation, not just for what you're saying, but from where another is coming from. And you may even modify your perspective slightly. But even if you don't, hopefully you walk away with some respect for the person that you have engaged in the communication, knowing that these are deeply held beliefs, that they have the reasons for it. You may not agree, but you can respect the difference. So let's try to promote a little more dialogue and maybe less debate where we try to pick holes at one another in the upcoming holiday season. So thank you. I hope if you like these videos, you take the free subscription to Professor R.J. Placone on communication excellence. Thank you so much.